Preface this video. These are my opinions accompanied by a quick summarization of what's been going on YouTube lately. So with that in mind, I want you to know that your opinions are valid, my opinions are valid. I just want to start the discussion. Let's get started. Earlier this week, Casey Neistat, a huge new YouTuber, I'm a huge fan of him, I wish I was anywhere near like him, uploaded a video talking about who's going to be voting for president, and quite clearly he says, I'm voting for Hillary. Trump is disgusting, he's trash, I don't want him in there. Hillary is the only person in a position to oppose him and beat him. With that, I want to encourage this demographic here on YouTube to actually go and vote for once. And at the end of the video, he says, I want to call out every other big YouTuber. The collective of these 10 big YouTubers get over 1 billion views every day. He says all these YouTubers get a lot of views. They have the potential to activate this demographic. And he wants to have everybody on YouTube vote for Hillary, because that's what he believes in. But the way he encourages it, he says, call out these other YouTubers, tell them to endorse Hillary. And that's kind of where the video ends. Let's try to analyze this. The first part, second part, third part. I think we could split it into 3 parts. The 3 parts. Says who he's voting for and why, tells you he wants you to, and then the third part is he's saying, call out these other people who can influence the masses. First and second parts of his video I have no problem with, even the third part, because freedom of speech is the thing that allows this country to be the way it is and make it as awesome as it is. But the first and second part were nowhere near as threatening, I would say. It's kind of hard to explain. I say threatening is because the first and second part of his videos are him more or less just stating his opinion and encouraging his viewers to have the same mindset. The third part, however, is not only that, but inciting potential abuse and harassment on the medium that is known as YouTube. And that I don't think is appropriate. I necessarily agree with him encouraging harassment or some sort of hounding down of other people on YouTube, is because every person, not all the big YouTubers, number one, even live in the United States. Number two, every single person is entitled to keep their opinion to themselves, if they so choose. If they wanted to endorse Hillary, like Casey Neistat suggested, they're welcome to. However, not everybody wants that. Not everybody wants to have that kind of conversation on their channel. Not everybody has the kind of channel that even talks about politics. And for that, I don't feel like there's any room for Casey Neistat to even have mentioned calling out other YouTubers. What he does on his channel, that's his choice. But for everybody else here on YouTube, they're entitled to their privacy, their opinion, and whether or not they want to make their lives public or private, or individually for their opinions. And for that, I think Casey Neistat was wildly outside of his authority, I guess. It's kind of hard to say what it is, but I think it was wildly inappropriate for him to even suggest calling out people the way he did. I'm also of the opinion that you should go and vote. And I'm not saying vote for Hillary, but I'm trying to say that voting in and of itself is important. Making your voice heard is important. And Casey Neistat also mentions this. He says, if you're quiet during the election and you don't even vote, you're partly responsible for whatever happens because you chose to stay silent. And that's where a lot of the stuff gets kind of controversial. I say controversial is because he could have done so many different things instead of saying specifically vote for Hillary and tell everybody to vote for Hillary. He could have said, if you don't like those 2 candidates, research what the third party candidates are. And even on top of that, voting for president is It is one on a list of maybe even 50 different items that you vote for when you go to vote in November. There are so many different policies and regulations and federal laws that they either get passed or even looked at because of those voting sheets. And that's what makes voting important, not only picking who's president. And if I'm of the opinion that if Casey Neistat had of encouraging a one-sided climate on YouTube and calling out these people who either joke about voting for Trump or anything of the sort, he could have encouraged a conversation. He could have promoted a conversation in talking about who is going to be president, what values do they have, encouraging the young people to be involved at the very least and have an opinion and then go vote regardless of who they vote for. I think that would have been a lot better for him to do instead of doing it the way he did. However, if he is that passionate about Hillary Clinton being president, that's perfectly appropriate for him to do, because freedom of speech is a thing. He's allowed to say what he wants to say. Will YouTube monetize it? I have no clue. There are their policies all over the place, but that's aside from the point. Ask a few questions and give you my opinion on them so we can have a conversation in the comments. I wanted to ask is, do you think Casey Neistat published that video with the mindset of starting a conversation about getting the young people demographic on YouTube to vote at all or to be involved in voting, or do you think he really, really wanted to push the Hillary ticket? I think the way it came across is he was pushing the Hillary ticket. However, I would like to imagine that with the bias and passion he has, he still had the intent of creating a conversation at all. And that was more of his goal than pushing the Hillary ticket alone. Let me know your thoughts on that. Lastly, do you think that it made sense for him to do what he did? Like, if he really wanted to push the Hillary ticket, do you think he went about it the right way? And on top of that, do you think it was appropriate for him to encourage his viewers, to go and call out these other YouTubers? Do you think that made sense to have them call out other YouTubers, seeing as not all YouTubers live in the USA? And that's kind of hard for me to understand personally, but do you think it made sense for him to do that? Let me know. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts, specifically about this topic. And I wanted to say also, update video on the channel is going to come out soon because things have been wonky ever since summer happened. And a lot of decisions have been made that I'd like to talk about real quick. So, thanks for watching. I hope this either got you interested or made you think about voting at all. Let me know what your opinions are if you feel you want to discuss them. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.